Oh, Matt Walsh told you about biology. Well, I'm sure Matt Walsh knows tons about biology from his time at, as he wrote on his blog, I never went to college, thank God I wasn't college material. Oh, so let's throw Matt Walsh out. If we want to talk about science, let's go to, I don't know, a scientist. Ladies and gentlemen, from Scientific American, I give you the biological sex spectrum. I think this is a really cool visualization. You got male characteristics over here, female characteristics here, and all intersex conditions along the way. What's cool to see here is they break it down from chromosomes, genes, hormones, primary and secondary sex characteristics. So as you can see, over on this end, you have the non-intersex XX females, who primarily have XX chromosomes, female hormones, female birth sex, and female secondary sex characteristics. And then you have cool middle ground cases like XX testicular disorder. People who genetically and chromosomally are way over on the female side, but then their primary sex characteristics are way over here. They produce way more testosterone than non-intersex XX women, so their hormones are way over here, so their secondary sex characteristics tend to be way over here. These are XX people who are identified male at birth. And on the other case, you might have androgen insensitivity syndrome, where your chromosomes are XY. But at birth, your primary sex characteristics appear female. And because your hormones are completely insensitive to androgen or testosterone, your hormones end up being on the extreme female side, and you have extremely feminine female secondary sex characteristics. So my question to you becomes, are people who are XX and assigned male at birth just as female as non-intersex cis women? See, my view is that the biodeterminist notion that your chromosomes prior to your birth are the only thing that determine your sex and gender is actually way more radical than trans-affirming philosophy. Because then what you're saying is really the majority of people go their entire lives without actually knowing if they're male or female, if they're a man or a woman. Because there is not a one-to-one correspondence between any perceptible physical trait and your sex chromosomes. It pushes philosophy into this entirely mystical realm where no one can ever know anything. Was Kamala Harris the first woman vice president? We don't know. Check her chromosome. Did Joe Biden pick Justice Brown because she's a woman? We don't know if she's a woman. She says she's a woman, but check her chromosomes. Also, I can't stress this enough. Don't take my word for this. Please do your own research. And for God's sakes, don't take Matt Walsh's word for anything.
Florida Republican candidate Laverne Spicer, running for Florida's 24th congressional district, just made headlines by making a very strange claim after Kamala Harris introduced herself by her pronouns. She says, "There are no pronouns in the Bible." And well, John 18:6, "As soon then as he had said to them, 'I am he,' they went backwards and fell to the ground." So not only are there pronouns in the Bible, Jesus specifically introduces himself by his pronouns often and is so powerful in doing so that the people fell down to the ground afterwards. So somebody went back and actually calculated and found that there were 100,788 pronouns in the Bible. That might change depending on what translation you use. But one thing is for sure, Florida's education system cannot handle Laverne Spicer.
The reason people defend the gender binary so ferociously, attempt to ban books about gender literacy, disappear gender nonconforming people from public life is because they don't want to confront their lovelessness. That awareness that they've never been allowed to be free. It's easier to romanticize the unfreedom, decorate and accessorize it, mistake dissociation as an identity and a virtue, wear it like a badge or a family heirloom. So many would rather die than give it up. And all this pain, it shows up as resentment and retribution against gender nonconforming people. How dare you make freedom real? How dare you make heaven on earth? I thought we had to wait for joy. I thought that wasn't possible. People are made to destroy their own creativity, their own simultaneity, their own gender nonconformity in order to receive love from their families and societies. If they don't see gender nonconforming people, then they don't have to see the parts of themselves that they had to cut out in order to be loved. If they don't see us, then they don't have to see their own pain. Their grief is so calcified, it takes the form of anger.
Ai na we o na manu. Hayala houa manu I oe ke ka huli huli me ka haahe o kamali e o ka levalani e huolono I kona ue ana mai Leo akai o e ake leo akai o e Hayala houa manu I oe ke ka huli huli me ka haahe o kamali e o ka levalani e huolono I kona ue ana mai Leo akai o e, ake leo akai o e, au hea o e, kamanu lava, akahi baki kaha, iluna I hola, alike me kalupe, pare ake e, lohe mau I a kona, ue.
I'm gender fluid, but the ends of the spectrum for me aren't man and woman. It's more like butch, they, them, lesbian, and like super ethereal femboy, but in a non-binary, like the word God, but in a non-binary.
I bought a whiteboard for this, so y'all had better pay attention. So gender is a spectrum, right? Wrong. Wait, I still need that. This little line does play into it though. We'll label this side the concept of boy, concept of girl on this side. 3 marks not necessary. 1 line is not enough. Chaka, chaka. Try again. So up here we have femininity, and down here we have masculinity. What the? Off-screen editing, whoa! Oh, it's bigger. So now we have the 2-dimensional plane of gender rather than just one singular spectrum. Girl, boy, feminine, masculine. X-axis equals concept. Y-axis equals expression. And that's all you need to know, right? Wrong. Still need that. There's gotta be a 3rd axis. I'm calling this bad boy gender saturation, as in how much the idea of these labels matter to you. We'll label this side H for heck yeah it matters, and this side I for I don't give a fuck. Oh yeah, Z is saturation. I call this the infinite gender cube, TM. There's no actual trademark, I just thought it was cute. Example of hypothetical gender. We have the butch lesbian. Before we dive in, these are arbitrary numbers. Concept of gender, 100, girl. Expression of gender, -100, masculine. Saturation of gender, 50. Yeah, definitely care about it quite a lot. Heck yeah. Why'd you write 50 when the others are 100? I wanted to spice it up, okay? New gender just dropped. Here we have the elusive femboy. Concept, -100, boy. Expression, 100, feminine. Saturation at 50 for heck yeah. What's this doodad right here? This is the point of androgyny. To be at this point, it's more about the vibes than the looks. Well, would you look at that? It's the agender dot. Gender concept, 0 for no. Gender expression, whatever. Gender saturation, -infinity, my friends. Whoa, where did this blob come from? It's me. Hello. I have a lot of fluidity and variance in my gender, but I typically exist in this concept of girl and feminine expression region. Most of the time, I have a high saturation. It matters to me. Every now and then, I'm like, no, I don't get. Once again, the infinite gender cube. Give me your coordinates.
Gender identity commonly held by, but not limited to, adult people who were assigned female at birth. And I know that this is supposed to be a transphobic gotcha moment, but it's interesting if you genuinely try to answer it, because you're asking for characteristics, traits, or something that you would be able to perceive from another person that would let you know that that person is a woman. And so it would have to be something that all women have in common, and it would have to be distinguishable from non-women. So it wouldn't be something that you would perceive from people who aren't women. And so it couldn't be what we look like, how we dress, our makeup, our hair, because not all women have those things in common. It couldn't be the presence or absence or function or failure of any of our body parts, because not all women have those things in common. It couldn't even be our chromosomes, because there's so many conditions that mix those up that not all women have those in common. In fact, the only thing that all women have in common is that we know we're women.
How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay. Hitman in a top try, see a man topless, even a stick is gay. Hugging my brothers and say that I love them, but I don't swing that way. The man them celebrate Eid, the trap still running on Christmas Day.
What a funny little butthurt comment. I applaud you for using her correct name and pronouns. I will give you that. Even if you put them in quotation marks, you didn't dead name her. Way to go. Trans-friendly king. But I don't think you need to worry about them misgendering Caitlyn Jenner when they unbury her, because we have the internet now and she was famous. But anyhow, do you know the feature that they used to determine most skeletons and what sex they were? The pelvis. Could they house an egg, or could they shoot a sperm? It all goes back to that reproductive system, baby! And there have actually been really thrilling studies where they find that trans people relate with the brain more of the sex they feel they are than the actual sex they were born with. But then contradicting even that study is another study that finds we're not even sure what a male or female brain is anymore. Now let's get back to archaeologists, although you said geologists. We're not talking about the gender of rocks. Rocks don't have gender, just like some people. So one of the main other ways that archaeologists determine whether a skeleton was a man or a woman is by looking at what it was buried with. Different customs and cultures will bury different people with tools, gems, jewels based off of their gender. And archaeologists will look at a grave, see that all the lady things are around it, and call it a woman. Now, and I will leave a link to this in my link tree, in some graves, they find both male and female objects. So what kind of skeleton is that? Archaeologists at a gravesite will leave up to like 25% of skeletons as undetermined. 25% is way more gender queerness than we are allowing to exist in our current society. And if we go to anthropology, the study of people and cultures all across the world, there is all sorts of gender queerness that has existed for years. It has never existed in this binary until the white man came along. So actually, biology, archaeology, and anthropology all supports the idea that trans people are valid, they exist, they're a part of our history, and they're a part of our future. And I know that you all love to tote around the idea that facts don't care about your feelings, but why does that suddenly stop when transphobia is in question? All the facts go away because your feelings are I'm scared of gender queerness. Much to think about, babe. Much to think about.